Hello, welcome to Pub Football Previews. We're looking ahead to the fourth weekend of the Premier League for the 2020-21 season. As always, big Premier League games. The season's starting to settle into a rhythm now. Sort of know where or whereabouts we think teams will finish. Of course, there'll still be some changes. 3 weeks is too early to come to full conclusions. But some teams are doing better than we expected. Some are doing worse. Chelsea take on Crystal Palace at 12:30. Everton, Brighton and Hove Albion. This is the Saturday games. At 3, Leeds United host Manchester City at Ellen Road at 5:30.
Oh.
Newcastle host Burnley at 8. That's your Saturday games. On to Sunday, Leicester City, West Ham at midday. Also at midday, Southampton, West Brom. Lots of games on the Sunday. Arsenal host Sheffield United at 2, as do Wolves host Fulham, 2 o'clock as well. 4:30, Old Trafford, Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspur. And at 7:15 to finish the weekend, Aston Villa host Liverpool. Starting at the start, first game of the weekend, 12:30 tomorrow, Saturday, Chelsea host Crystal Palace. Fully expect Mendy to start in goal for Chelsea after the game against Tottenham, which I'll be honest, he looked good, but he didn't become fallible in. I thought that there were some moments under the high ball where I thought, the Premier League's going to be a bit of an experience for this goalkeeper. But I don't know. They've plugged a gap. Last weekend they were terrible at the back. Even Thiago Silva's making mistakes. Crystal Palace have looked really good. Unlucky last weekend against Everton. It's a hard game to call, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, mate. As you say, Chelsea haven't got off to the best of starts so far, have they? And as you say, you can't seem to get a settled 11 at the moment. Kenny Rudiger's not kind of in and out. Obviously, Mendy's just coming into the Premier League, so we'll see what happens there. As we always say, Palace are a much better away side, so I expect them to put in a really good performance. I think Chelsea are going to nick it 2-1.
I'm going to surprise you, because we never
away win.
Away win, 1-0 Palace.
Oh,
I think. Actually, no, 2-1 Palace. Sorry, not 1-0, because I think Chelsea have got enough up front. But just watching the way that West Brom cut them open in the first half last week worries me.
Yeah.
Chelsea. I've already changed my mind on them winning the Premier League this season, by the way.
Didn't take long, did it?
No, didn't. 3 games. Everton hosts Brighton at Goodison Park at 3 o'clock. Again, 2 teams playing really well. I think the home team will have too much.
Yeah, as you say, both are flying at the moment, really, especially Everton with Calvert-Lewin banging in the goals left, right and centre. Brighton have been incredibly unlucky in the league so far, haven't they? Especially last weekend. How they didn't get anything out of that game is just ridiculous. But as you say, at Goodison Park, comfortable home win, 2-0.
Also, let's just comment quickly. Calvert-Lewin fully deserves an England call-up. A year ago, we would never have been calling for that, but 2 hat-tricks already this season, playing very, very well. I'm going to go I'm actually thinking it's going to be quite high scoring. I'm going to go 3-1 to Everton.
Another hat-trick?
Maybe not a hat-trick. I think he'll get one. He's in that type of form. I think he'll keep scoring all the way through to the Premier League, all the way through to the England squad. Leeds, Manchester City at Ellen Road, 5:30 kickoff. Man City are a wounded animal, and I think they'll come out fighting. Leeds will give it everything, but this is a team that, when they play well, I think will be too strong for Leeds.
Yeah, agreed. It'll be interesting to see what Leeds do, won't it? Because they will probably do what Leeds do best and just be completely kamikaze. Let's all press the ball. Let's leave loads of gaps where a team like Man City are going to exploit that. And the fact they lost, obviously, last week to Leicester in really poor fashion, I expect them to win as well. I think it's going to be a 3-1 away win. I'm
going to go 4-1. I don't think Leeds are good enough at the back. I think we saw that against Liverpool. No. Man City will exploit that. Plus, they've got a new centre-back in Diaz, so they should hopefully look stronger at the back. Newcastle, Burnley. Newcastle were awful last weekend and were so lucky to get a point with that shocking handball. We didn't do a review video for that, but that's all I want to say about that. They were shocking. However, if you don't score your chances in Tottenham's case, you're always in the game at a goal down. Always in the game. Anything can happen. Burnley have looked bad this season as well. I don't really know which way this game's going to go. I'm tempted to say 0-0.
Yeah, as you say, Newcastle incredibly lucky to get anything out of that game. They're awful. Burnley, haven't got going yet. As you say, it is tricky to score. I think it's going to be a tight 1-0 home win with Calvin Wilson keeping his form going. It is Calvin, isn't it? I always get it wrong.
Callum, not Calvin.
Oh, I got it wrong again. Always get it wrong.
Useless. Sunday's games, midday. Leicester City host West Ham at the King Power. Leicester look great, really good against Manchester City, free flowing going forward, players in form. West Ham, great win last weekend, but then they got beaten soundly in the cup during the week. The home win, 4-1.
Yeah,
4-1 for me.
4-1. Wow. Yeah, as you say, Leicester are flying and looked incredible last Saturday or Sunday, sorry. And yeah, especially got people like Maddison still coming back to fitness. A couple of players come through the door this week as well, which is good news. Yeah, I think it's going to be a comfortable home win. I know West Ham getting better, but Leicester are way too strong at the moment.
Score?
3-0.
3-0. I see I gave him a goal, even with conceding 4.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Southampton, West Brom at midday. I don't know. Southampton haven't done much for me this year. West Brom, I thought, were great first half. I think the only mistake they made last week was that they sat on their lead. Should have just kept going. If they kept going like they did in the first half, they might not have conceded all 3. So, interesting. I also thought West Brom played well till the red card against Everton. I still think they're going to go down, but this is a game they'll be targeting points in.
Yeah, definitely. It was a big win for Southampton last week. Get some up and running. I think they're going to make it 2 out of 2. To be honest, I think the home kind of advantage will count. But as you say, West Brom gets
a thing at the moment though because there's no crowd.
Well, but I also just don't really rate West Brom, to be honest. And I obviously know they did quite well last week, and they are getting better. But there's just too many really average Championship players in that side for me. And I think it's going to be a 2-0 home win.
I think it's going to be 2-2. I think West Brom might surprise us here. Arsenal, Sheffield United at the Emirates. Sheffield United have had a really bad start to the season. I'm tempted to say that they're going to be in the relegation scrap, but they've just signed Ryan Brewster today. It's just been made official in the last 15 minutes. Arsenal have looked good, beat Liverpool midweek. It was, you could say 3-1 loss last weekend, but 1, they went 1-0 up, and 2, they were in it right till the end. At 2-1 down, like we said with Newcastle, if you keep within a goal, you've always got a chance. 2-1 and 1's missed by Lacazette. It could have been a different story. I'm actually going to go against everything that my heart tells me and say that Arsenal are going to win quite comfortably.
Oh, comfortably. That's big words, isn't it? So, yeah, I think, as you say, home advantage might make a difference, mate, to be honest. Obviously, it doesn't make a difference at all, to be honest. I don't know why I said that. But
the Emirates is
as you say,
home advantage for Arsenal because it's just as quiet.
Well, those quiet
fans aren't getting on their back when they get.
Well, exactly.
It goes wrong.
Exactly. But Sheffield United can't score a goal for love nor money. Obviously, Brewster's coming in, but it's a big 19-year-old to try and hit the ground running as quickly as that. So we've had 2 decent performances against Liverpool. Probably should have got more out of Monday nights, but obviously they're
I wouldn't say you should
side.
have more out of Monday night. You were the worst team throughout the game. You were just in it because you're only down. You didn't deserve more than a loss.
Well, like I said, I had a chance. Yeah, a chance to make it 2-2, mate. Different, but we're going to win this one comfortably, 3-0.
I'm going to say 2-0 Arsenal, by the way. Wolves, Fulham. Wolves are going to win. Fulham are just an absolute mess at the moment. At the back, they are shocking. They haven't learned from the last time they're in the Premier League, but they're also, I don't think they're great going forward. The debacle between Tony Khan, I was going to say Coney Tarn, between Tony Khan and Scott. Tony Khan should not be tweeting apologies for the team, especially when Scott Parker said that they thought they worked hard and they still battled. However, it's really, really bad for Fulham. They finished bottom of the Premier League at this rate. They look terrible at the back. Wolves, this is the week they can bounce back. And I think they're going to win really comfortably. I think they're going to score a lot of goals. Yeah,
as you say, Fulham are absolutely horrific at the moment. They got absolutely smashed by Brentford week as well, bode well for confidence. And that back 2 pairing of Ream and Adoy are absolutely awful. They wouldn't make it into a mid-table Championship side. They are that bad.
And Brentford will be ruining the playoff final because they've just smashed them in the League Cup. They effectively a weaker team as they've got rid of Ollie Watkins. If they'd have played like that in the playoff final, we'd be seeing a better team in the Premier League as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly, yeah. You think right now Brentford would give a much better account of themselves after 3 games, 100%. And yeah, they are going to get absolutely slaughtered again this weekend. Yeah, they just are. They're going to lose about 4-0, I think, mate. Wolves are going to go to town.
5-1.
Oh, you're
Big.
going to give them a goal.
When you give him a goal, that Mitrovic can always nick one. He can be a bully, but then again, they've got the right defenders in Willy Bolly, Connor Cody are great in the physical.
Yeah.
On to Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspur, 4:30. Now, I actually think Tottenham are playing really well at the moment, which is hard to say as a Spurs fan, because part of being a Spurs fan, to earn your badges and earn your stripes and earn being able to put the shirt on as a fan, you have to be pessimistic. It's the rules.
Yeah.
But I thought Tottenham were brilliant against Newcastle. The only problem was, and as much as the handball was just a ridiculous rule, and it's not VAR's fault, it's the rules' fault. It's not the referee's fault, it's the rules' fault. It's a ridiculous rule. Tottenham played well enough and created enough to be 5-0 up, and should have been 5-0 up. And like we said, you don't get a bigger lead, something can happen in the last minute, and all of a sudden that's 2 points dropped, which it was. Midweek against Chelsea, first half was terrible. Second half, Tottenham played really, really well and fully deserved the draw, and then to go through on penalties, I thought. And then they've won 7-2 in the Europa League. Yeah, against Maccabi Tel Aviv, but at the same time, you can only beat what's in front of you, and Tottenham haven't been scoring that many goals in these games. To get 7 was brilliant. I'm really optimistic about Tottenham at the moment. I just feel like it's working. As for Manchester United, good win against Brighton in midweek, but they've looked poor in the league, really poor, and it hasn't worked. And the manager hasn't tinkered enough to make it work, and they still haven't got a centre-back, and they still haven't signed Sancho, and their fans are getting really angry. And I think Tottenham can get something out of this game.
Yeah, I agree. As you say, we watched it together last Sunday, and you absolutely battered Newcastle. And I thought Harry Kane was on top form last Sunday. He was absolutely sensational. And if you could have just taken some more chances, it would have been job done at half time. Obviously, as the weeks progressed, you played really well. My biggest concern is obviously fatigue. I know you're trying to kind of rotate where you can, but that squad is pretty thin. But United have been absolutely... United was so fortunate last Saturday to get anything out of that game. Now, absolutely rubbish. And they do what United do. They just stick in there. Got a fluky goal, got a fortunate penalty, but obviously it was. But I think you're going to win, mate. I genuinely think you're going to win.
I'm going 2-1. Both is 2-1. Jinx. Aston Villa, Liverpool, last game of the weekend on Sunday. Liverpool, while they won against Arsenal and they dominated against Arsenal, and I said they deserved to win, there's a vulnerability about Liverpool at the moment at the back. I feel like there's a way to beat them, and they will win the league this season, but it's not going to be as clear cut. It's not going to be as dominant as it was last year, because there's just something about them that I think can be exploited, and teams are, one, they're learning how to play against them, and two, and because of that, the fullbacks pushing on, they're starting to, I found Arsenal started to find the space in behind a little bit, and they were up, like you said, 2 one-on-ones. It could have been a completely different story. As for Aston Villa, I'm excited for Aston Villa this season. Great win last weekend. I know it was against Fulham. I think Ross Barkley's a brilliant signing. Now they have some quality in that midfield, and some creative quality alongside Jack Grealish. All the burden isn't on Jack Grealish now. I think Aston Villa have been very shrewd in this transfer window, and I think that they're going to do very well. However, Liverpool will win.
Yeah, no, agreed. As you say, there is something about Liverpool this year. If you can beat the press against Liverpool, there is gaps to exploit. And as you say, Arsenal didn't do it a lot on Monday night, but when we did, there were chances to be had. And if teams are good enough from the back, you can create chances against Liverpool. And as you say, good from Villa, good bit of business, getting Barkley in, good for him as well, get some game time. And it's going to be tight, but obviously I think Liverpool are going to win about 2-0 comfortable.
I'm going to go 3-1. I just think Liverpool are good enough. Anyway, that was Pub Football with Miles and Jimmy. Enjoy the weekend's Premier League action. Let us know what your score predictions are in the comments. Follow us on Instagram as well, @pub_football. We will see you next week for a Pub Football review of Week 4 of the Premier League. Cheers.
Cheers.